We are now returning from closed session.
Mr. Chair, I certify that to the best of our knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion to go into executive session were heard, discussed, or considered in executive session.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. We are now returned from closed session. Now we will begin to open for our regular meeting. Let us stand at this time for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer.
You're supposed to do this.
Okay.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the personnel agenda as presented first.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this opportunity to come to you, thanking you for all that you have given to us. Be with us in this time of year. Be with all of our students, our families, and go with us in this meeting today and help us to approve what is needed to perform our work. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.04, adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. 4.01, recommend the adoption and presentation of a resolution for Jane Pennington Guthrie.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to recommend the adoption and presentation of a resolution for Jane Pennington Guthrie as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Would the family of Jane Pennington Guthrie please come forward? It is an honor at this time for me to present this resolution expressing the consensus of the Buckingham County School Board regarding the services of Jane Pennington Guthrie. Whereas Jane Pennington Guthrie had served the students, parents, and staff of Buckingham Public Schools for 17 years. Whereas she demonstrated great dedication to her job with the Buckingham County Public Schools and held the position of a music teacher. Whereas she was a graduate of Buckingham County High School class of 1958 and a graduate of Longwood College with a degree in music education. Whereas she was an advisor to the music fraternity at Longwood University upon retirement and loved welcoming her quote-unquote Longwood girls into her home for sing-alongs and desserts. Whereas she would play the grand piano in the lobby of Centra Hospital every Thursday for many years, bringing joy and comfort to apprehensive patients. Whereas she was known for the great love she had for her family as a loving wife, mother, grandmother, sister, sister-in-law, and aunt. Whereas she will forever be remembered as spreading joy through her musical talents, teaching and instilling the love of music in thousands of children, and helping many to realize their own talents as musicians. Therefore, let it be resolved that we, the members of the Buckingham County School Board, wish to express the deepest appreciation for all she has done for the students and the staff at Buckingham County Public Schools, and to extend our condolences to her family and friends. And this resolution is to be adopted and presented to the family by the Buckingham County School Board on Wednesday, December the 11th, 2024. Let's give them a hand. .02 Senior of the Month.
Would Avery Schaefer please come forward? Let's give him a big hand. This is our third year Senior of the Month. You get bigger every time I see you. It's my pleasure, because this is my most favorite thing to do, is to recognize kids. He is a honor student, 3.879 GPA, means he got his academic jacket. Have you tried that on? Okay. And I have to. I watched this kid for the first 6 months that I was here. I had the opportunity to go to the baseball playoffs. You were a freshman. And it was down in Salem. He got stuck pitching. And he's a ninth grader. And we're playing for the state semifinal. If we win, we go to the finals. He pitched 4 or 5 innings like he had ice water in his veins, I can tell you. I was so struck. I told Ronnie then, I said, this kid's going to amount to something. And if I'm correct from this point on, remember I said it first, all right? But not only did he play baseball, he does all the stuff that good kids do. He's second team All-State pitcher his junior year. He's been first team All-Region pitcher. He was a player of the year on defense. He's even won a state title for his play last year as linebacker. When we look at kids, for this award. It's scholarship. Do they have good grades? What are they doing with their extra time? And are they giving anything back? Do they serve in their church, or whatever organizations they're involved with. Avery is a great kid, and he's going to turn out to be a great young man. And he's got aspirations. He wants to go to college. He would like to go someplace to play college football and probably baseball at the same time. And who knows? We might be watching him on TV. Well, remember, if we do, I'm the first one to say it, all right? Yeah, let's give him a big hand. Avery will get a $500 scholarship plaque at the Senior of the Month Awards. That's in the second week of May. And I'll send that out when we know more of the absolute date. We honor 10 seniors every month. So with that, one more time, give him a big hand. We also, 3 years ago, started with recognizing employees. Sometimes they didn't know that they were getting recognized, and they would show up like Russ did last month. But I would like to have somebody who's been very good to us. Kim Page, please, would you come forward? Kim came to us in 2017, I think from Cumberland, is that correct? And I have noticed and watched her teach math. And I think if I was a math teacher, I would do the same thing. I would sit in the back of the room and where you could pull kids back and they'll, they're not intimidated. Sometimes if you don't know the answer and you get pulled up front, that puts a lot of pressure on you. She is an outstanding math teacher, and she's helped us fill in when we need her. She coached JV volleyball this year, and I know that you're involved with volleyball a lot, more than just that. She heads up the yearbook for the high school, and she's a senior class sponsor. Now, believe you me, those are tough jobs, and you keep you busy. But also, we had an event last Friday. We call it a Heroes Breakfast, and it's one of these things that we started a long time ago to get our kids out and let them help serve, but thank people. Thank the state police, thank the sheriff's department, everybody that does something for us, our secretaries, our bus drivers, our veterans. And it really clicked this time. We had the largest crowd ever. And I mean, we're going to have a chance to savor it because she took about 400 pictures, okay? And I mean, good ones too. So I told her the other day in the hallway, I said, well, this teaching gig don't work out. You can start taking pictures, but she's a great teacher, and you're a great person, and we appreciate you. Thank you. we have a special certificate of recognition from the VSBA to Mr. Joey Goodman, our board chair, for serving as a delegate in the 2024 VSBA Delegate Assembly. Signed by Dr. Cardell Patillo and Gina Patterson. We're lucky we have Joy serve as a good board chair and to lead us. And in times like now, we're getting ready for a big budget, and Joey is the VSBA, and really, and I thank you, Joey. I enjoy working with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
5.01 public comment. Anyone who wishes to address the school board must state their name and address and limit their comments to 3 minutes. This is time for comments only. Board members do not respond to the comments made. Questions should be submitted to the school board in writing and will be given to the appropriate person to answer as soon as possible. Anyone signed up?
No one signed up.
All right, public comment is closed. 6.01, approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. All right, report of the superintendent. 7.01, recommend approval of the high school block scheduling revision. Mr. Damon Talley, high school principal.
Good evening, Mr. Goodman, Mr. Snoddy, and the rest of the board. We at the Buckingham High School, part of the goal here of me, first year principal, is to make a lot of improvements. Some of the improvement things we wanted to improve on was the decrease in the number of referrals, establish accountability, improving attendance, improving test scores, especially in the African American male population and the SPED population. So on your presentation, you see that we're proposing a new schedule. Our current 4x4 block schedule, we allow students to take 4 classes each semester, a total of 8 classes for the year, with hopes of them obtaining a minimum of 25 credit hours to graduate. This year, going into my first year as an administrator, we noticed we had a task at hand. We had 50 plus students come in, needing at least 1 SOL score as a senior to graduate. Majority of them 2 or more SOLs. The problem we had was trying to find timing to remediate those students. My counselor and myself, what we did, and my team, we went in and we created a class with those students where they can go in and actually take some remediation classes and hopefully to increase those scores. The problem there is that they're being remediated by teachers that are not qualified to teach those positions. So basically they're getting handed assignments. They need help, we have to go in and find the other teachers to kind of help them out. That caused a lack of attendance, students starting to leave school early, things like that. So with this new schedule, we revised the name of it. It was considered a 5-block schedule. We call it a 4x4 flex, which became more appealing to our staff because they realized that they're not planning for 5 classes, but in return, they're actually going to remediate and introduce some materials that they covered earlier in the day. So our typical 4x4 schedule,
We have a 90-minute block. Each students go 90 minutes at a time for the 4 blocks. There are no scheduled remediation time. And there also there's no time allowed for testing and registration and some of the other things like sporting events where the students are missing 4th block a lot of times. With this new proposed schedule, students are in class for 80 minutes. So reduce 10 minutes off each block. So it go from 90 minutes to 80 minutes. And that 5th block, those students would get that time back where they go to remediation class. If you look at the schedule right here, first block is 80 minutes, second block is 80 minutes. Third block has multiple sections where we have for lunchtime, but each student's in class at 80 minutes at a time. Then we have the 4th block class, and then our flex blocks is 40 minutes. So on Monday, for example, those students report back to their first block class where they remediate with their first block teacher. Tuesday, same schedule, except they'll go back to 2nd block. Wednesday, they go back to 3rd block. Thursday, they go back to 4th block. And on Friday, we have what we call, they can meet with their mentor. Okay, so we're proposing each student have 12 to 15, each teacher had 12 to 15 students that they would kind of mentor. We do SEL lessons. We can incorporate club time. Any of our college advisory, when she comes in and bring colleges in, the students can meet with those during that time. And also, when we have our early releases for sports, instructional time is not affected, okay? But going back to this remediation period, the students are going back to a teacher that's certified to teach them the class. And we feel like that's a reason, a good way to improve our SOL scores and close the achievement gap.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the kids that go to Southside and they go to those classes, 1st and 2nd block, what will they do those days?
To go to Southside for a 2nd block.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, what will they do?
So the juniors will actually go to history, and they will eat on that 3rd block, and then when they'll come back to class. The seniors should not be affected at all because usually they come a little later in the day.
All right.
So basically what you're saying is for those populations of people that you've already identified to be needing extra help, the primary driver for providing that help is going to be through the remediation and also through mentoring. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, do you have any other data, any other thing to support the correlation that you've drawn between the mentoring and the extra instruction? I mean, is it?
Well, so with the extra instructional time, so currently when we have those classes that we put those students in, the ones that are taking advantage of them, they are improving. We are seeing an improvement in scores. We have more students that are qualifying for expedited retake, and are actually passing the SOLs than before. But we still have that gap that we're still trying to increase students to try to increase the achievement there. So when those students, currently we find ourselves doing workshops. We were doing a remediation schedule. Now we do a workshop, which we did a period of 3 days this past week, where we did the first block, we did a science class, second half of the day, we did a math, and we alternated, so now missing the same class each day. And that improved our scores a little bit because they get that time devoted with a teacher that's qualified and certified to teach that particular area. We figured with this schedule right here, instead of doing a push over 3 days, we're seeing it throughout the school year.
It sounded like you said that the 50-plus students that this would primarily impact. Is that accurate?
Well, it should impact anyone. I mean, all of them, but the 50-plus were seniors, and that was our target audience initially.
Was the seniors initially?
Yeah, they were
Do you
seniors.
think it's going to have impact across the 9th through the 11th as well?
Yes, I believe so.
What will the other students gain from having the additional block if they're not interested in the college prep, the extra guidance time?
So when students come to school, each students have 4 verified credits. So those students, like the freshmen, sophomore, the younger kids, This would be a case where are able to get those SOLs out the way early instead of waiting till the senior year. But also, you look on Friday, like I said, that's the time when you have your mentor. The mentor is a very important piece because each teacher has 12 to 15 students. We're going over social emotional learning piece. We're doing character building. We have Major Clarity we work with. At the same time, we can go
Why
into.
are we doing that?
I'm sorry, sir.
Why are we doing that?
Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Just to build a relationship with the kids and give them someone they can talk to, an outlet. Some students have struggles. They're not, I can tell you myself, for example, and some of my admin staff, we have students that come in here that they see us as mentors, and they kind of pep up to our expectations. I had a student recently that he gave my whole staff a hug yesterday because initially he was an attendance issue. He was disrupting class. I took him under my wing and said, hey, I believe in you. And I talk with this kid every day, and the kid attendance improved dramatically. And also the student actually passed his SOL yesterday, and in a matter of maybe about middle of next week, once he finishes the exam, he's graduating. Going into the school year, he was
I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I think it's interesting, actually, because back, if I remember correctly, back when we were in school, we had multiple blocks. It wasn't just the 4. So I'm curious, was this your first trial at a change in schedule, or were there multiple formats that you went to before you settled on this?
So as far as we come out with this right here, when I first came in here to Buckingham County, I was introduced to what we consider a 5-hour schedule. Here recently, before we came to this approach right here, we had our last faculty meeting with my department heads, and we sent out, actually met with the department heads first, and then we met with the faculty meeting. We sent out a survey, and we showed out the different types of schedules. One schedule was, I believe was I'm sorry, Ms. Ransom, was a 6-block schedule, correct?
We talked about several different 7th grade a traditional platform, an AP, and then
So the block, yes, so the flex, this schedule right here was the one that everyone agreed with and made more sense as far as what we was trying to accomplish.
So this was the one that had the best pros
Yes.
for it as opposed to the cons? My initial take on it, and I know you're looking for a recommendation tonight for approval tonight, but it's going to take, me personally, it's going to take some time to feel out the waters.
Yes, sir.
if you know what I
Understand.
mean. Just personal, and it doesn't take me to approve anything, it takes the whole board, but for me, it's going to take some time because I want to feel everybody out and see the pros and cons from a teaching perspective on down through the different schools, or not schools, but the different teaching groups, if you will, 9 through 12.
Yes, sir.
I think it's great we're looking at changing schedules because it's one of the things we talked about early on was why are we doing a 4x4 if we're seeing an issue with it working? Why don't we change it? So I think it's great that we're looking forward. I just don't, I don't have enough information yet to say, yes, I'm willing to put my stamp on it. Not that it's my
Yes,
all
understandable.
approval, but
Yes, sir.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
No, I like it. I like the idea of having an extra block for remediation. I really do. Because it's taken away from other teachers right now during other areas
Yes.
to help with remediation. And I get that. Like you said, you're pulling from different content groups, right, that may or may not have the expertise, I assume.
Yes, and also, as I mentioned before, a lot of times when we come in, we do our sports banquets, we do our college career days, we have college visitors. Anytime we have assemblies, a lot of time we try to do in the morning, but most of them are done in the afternoon. All of that affects the 4th block, primarily sports. Sports, a lot of times kids get out maybe 2:15. That's majority of the 4th block. And when basketball season comes in, we have 3 games a week. That's multiple days they're missing that same block. So this right here, if they do have to miss, it's not instruction time, it's more doing that flex time, which is the remediation and the mentor piece and all
How
the
far are
other
we
things.
off on our hourly requirements for, I know we got hourly requirements for education, right? That's why we have to work so many days a year and X,
Yes.
Y, Z, right?
Yes. So when you look at this right here, those 10 minutes we taking out each block
Yep.
is coming back, so that weekly average is still the same that we already have.
So you're rolling into the remediation time and counting the remediation time as extra instruction.
Yes.
What kind of trickery is that?
We're going back to the same block.
Okay.
It's conditional. So it's still,
Come to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Hey, you asked for it, you stepped right into it.
time is not necessarily just for remediation, because not every class has an SOL.
That's right.
So that is the time, because we're taking the 10 minutes every day, that those students are going back to that class to make up for that time. So if you do the math overall, it is going to be about a 2-hour difference in the entire semester. But like Mr. Talley said, what we're doing right now, especially with fourth block, there is no built-in time during our day to do anything. Anything that happens during our school day, students are taken from instructional time. So things like clubs would be built into that flex time. But when they go back to their first through fourth block, it's not just for remediation. I would imagine at the end of the semester, yes, SOL teachers are
Sure.
really remediating. But that's a time for students to, or for a teacher to reiterate material that is more difficult. It's a time to, go over something again with them. When a student misses a day in a 90-minute block, it's a lot of makeup work, so it's a time for them to catch up, make up, things like that. So it's not just it's not just for
No,
remediation.
I appreciate the homework time, honestly, because, I mean, who wants to go home and do homework when you can do it at school?
And what we were finding with remediation, what we still find, we had an after-school program because
Right.
we kind of piggyback off transportation. Right now, it's just makeup time for attendance. Students don't stay for it. Our high schoolers don't stay. They have jobs, they have things that they're leaving, they have sports. So this is our attempt at a creative way to get that in during the school day when they have to be there, because they're not coming back and they're not staying after.
Speaking of transportation, since it came up, no impact?
No, sir. The school day times remain the
Yep,
same.
Just checking. I saw that we had it briefed in our SPED population and stuff that leaves a little bit earlier. So,
Well, speaking of SPED, it also gives time for our case managers
oh, to meet.
to meet. We have a whole list of things.
Valid
they could
input.
do.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good stuff.
But for the SVCC piece, our students that are doing HVAC and governor school, they come back at noon. So it alters their current schedule slightly, but it doesn't change at all the classes that they take with us. It moves their lunch from second lunch to third lunch, but it doesn't change what they can take with us.
Basically, timeline adjustment.
Right, exactly.
So when were you all planning on implementing this? Next semester or?
Thank you,
Next
Ms.
school
Libby.
year,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we figured we'd give some time for us to collectively think about it and come up with some of the questions you have to try to answer and make sure we have a foolproof plan when we go back into the next semester, next school year.
At the onset, it looks good. I mean, I like it, but
And I would say I see a lot of people out there shaking their heads. What is some of the feedback that you've heard thus far? I know you said that you spoke to the teachers and spoke to different people. What are some of the feedback that you've heard?
A lot of them, they like the fact that their class is not being interrupted. Kids are not leaving class early. I know the CTE classes, they are concerned about some of their requirements for their seat time, which Ms. Ransom can tell you that we're way ahead of that already as far as our amount of seat times. A lot of, before when we considered a 5-block schedule, a lot of teachers would complain about having to prep for another class and things like that. When they realized that we were actually just going back and reteaching some of the materials, a lot of them were on board with it, and they thought it was a good idea.
well, not only that, but the same thing applies to CTE, right? They need more
Yeah.
seat time, and they already got everything else covered on the SOL side of the house. There's no reason why they can't go with more seat time.
Yeah. So as far as feedback, it seemed like everybody was on board with it. Based on my survey at the end of the school year, we had a lot, but we have a lot more people who was in agreement since then, which was our last board meeting. I mean, not last board meeting, but last faculty meeting a month ago.
Mr. Jamerson, did you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to get feedback from the rest of the teachers and all, and you explained that to me. So, thank you.
That won't set you back too far, since the next board meeting is like literally right after the holidays, right?
I know, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So how do we want to,
I'd like to table it to the next meeting to give us time to circulate.
I agree.
all right? Do we need to vote?
Yeah, we need to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who has a motion?
I'll get there. I recommend we table or postpone the approval of the high school block scheduling revision as presented until the next board meeting in January.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Talley.
Thank you.
Motion passes. 7.02, recommend approval of the 2025 Special Education Advisory Committee members. Mrs. Amy Scott, Director of Special Education.
Good evening. So we're required, all school divisions are required to have a special education advisory committee. We're really lucky to have a fantastic one with it made up of a group of parents. We just update the membership annually. So we just bring this list to for your approval.
So if I were on the Special Education Advisory Committee, what would I do?
So we meet quarterly and more if needed. But it's a group of parents, and we also have a teacher representative, and we have another teacher consultant representative, and myself, of course. And so we come together and we have a formal meeting, have meeting minutes, and basically kind of share updates and concerns. They bring any questions they may have. The parents have, of course, great insight into some things looking at things through a different lens for their students with disabilities, and just kind of, they advise us on kind of what they're seeing might be some current concerns or some good things, and we just kind of have a good back and forth, and it really helps to have that insight and feedback to help improve our department.
So if, as a parent, if I didn't have a child that was necessarily a part of special education, but I had some concerns related to that, would I be welcome to come to the
Yeah,
meeting?
it's a public meeting, just like, so we have on our website, it says to contact me for the link. We do it virtually, it's just easier for everybody. So you're welcome to pop in. Just let me know and I can get you that information for whoever.
Anyone else have any more questions?
Is it on that list? We got a list of like the meetings and stuff, don't we? There's a list of like the meetings, committees, and everything else that comes out. Is that on there?
This is a different type of, I guess, committee, yeah, than like
Yeah, this is-
linked to the school board.
No, I'm just saying. because
I
we
mean,
got all of the outlines.
There's a possibility that maybe one of our board members would like to be a representative on this board. I don't know. I mean, that's something maybe we would like to look at.
Well, honestly,
Just saying.
if you're talking about policy and the educational stuff that's coming down through the special education program, I think it'd be kind of relevant, for some of the stuff that we deal with up at this level, to be familiar with at least, outside of going to the state looking for policy and stuff. I mean, just an opinion.
Do you want to volunteer?
No.
Our meeting dates are on the website, but like I said, just email me any information or questions. Happy to answer it. Welcome you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need
Mr. Chair, I recommend approval of the 2025 Special Education Advisory Committee members as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. 7.03, recommend pilot program for online ecology classes. Mrs. Christine Jansen, Director of Instruction.
Good evening. Before you, I've got two options for some module-based teaching. Unfortunately, we had an unexpected vacancy in our science department. It has not been filled. We worked with HR and also the high school to come up with some ideas about what would work. And we have found an online vendor that we're currently using for another program that could provide possibly a teacher remotely who's qualified to teach ecology to our students. One version, it's 3 days a week with a live teacher, and we'd have a parapro in the classroom monitoring for 5 days a week. And then the other 2 days, the children will be doing module work. And then there's a less expensive model, which is completely remote, and it would be module-based with lessons. This is for second semester. Again, it's a Band-Aid to just make sure that we have a qualified teacher teaching our students.
Any discussion?
I I make a motion to approve option 2, the hybrid model with virtual live instruction as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor of option 2, please raise your hand. Unanimous, motion carries. 7.04,
Thank you, ma'am.
pre-K through 2 active learning grant award, Mrs. Christine Jansen, Director of Instruction.
I should actually have Mrs. Bryant up here with me as well. This is the second year that we've been awarded this grant. It's a $30,000 grant. Sometimes they have additional money and we get an additional $20,000, and I'm just proud of the work that team does. It takes a village that we're all writing grants and trying to get it done. So kudos to Mrs. Bryant and her team. We've gotten another $30,000 to pilot a math initiative. The state has new math standards, and so we're able to do it. So kudos to Mrs. Bryant. Just informative.
Okay, all right,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
7.05, recommend approval of an appointee for the Virginia Department of Education and authorization of signature in absence of division superintendent.
Mr. Chair, I think this is just something that we have to do yearly, and it's already effective for now, but we have to do it each year. So I make a motion to approve the Wendy Oliver as the appointee for the Virginia Department of Education, authorization of signature in absence of the division superintendent.
Second.
It has been motioned and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. 7.06, recommend adoption of the resolutions for the school board member vacancy.
Mr. Chairman, in front of you, you have 2 resolutions that need to be adopted for the vacancy for Mrs. Spencer District 1. The first resolution is to present to the courts a petition for a writ of election for a special election to fill the actual vacancy. The second is to adopt a calendar of the activities to post the advertisement for the position. The timeline that you have is based on advice from the attorney and the timeline we have to do for Code of Virginia. So this can't really be tweaked too much. If there's something in there you're not comfortable with, you can let me know and I can get back with them. But we do need to adopt these resolutions tonight if you're comfortable with the attachments.
All right, thank you.
They were pretty legit. I read through them earlier. The one doc was by a lawyer anyway, so.
Will this be posted in the paper?
Yes, I will
and-
run an ad. Your timeline, an ad will be run in the paper, local papers, and on our website from December 31st to January 10th. The letters of interest have to be back to the school board office by January 14th. Then you all will interview candidates February 5th and will be appointed February 12th.
And if I'm remembering correctly, they have to have 25 people signed from their district.
Correct, the
on a
advertisement.
petition.
Yes,
Yeah.
the advertisement will state, you all have it attached to your. Applicants must submit a statement of interest not to exceed 300 words, 25 signatures from registered voters in District 1, and a resume to the clerk of Buckingham County School Board no later than January 14th.
Thank you for clarifying.
Because we never had to do that before for the petition.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, good.
I move we adopt the resolutions for the school board member vacancy and all that's required.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous, motion carries. 7.07, comprehensive plan.
What is this?
Is that,
This is to say that we want to delay it until we get a superintendent.
okay.
What is it, though? What is it? What is
The
this?
comprehensive plan is a plan that the school board and the superintendent decide on for the coming years or whatever.
Where's the old
We're
one?
not
Do we have the old
ready
one?
to get to that point
Okay.
yet.
All right, so,
Especially with looking for a new superintendent.
all right, so,
I do like to have some dialogue with.
all right, okay. All right, so we'll take care of that. 7.08, 2025, 2026 budget priorities.
You need an action to delay it. You need to make an action to delay it.
All right, we need to make an action to delay it.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to delay the development of the school comprehensive plan until we have a new superintendent in place.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any questions on the motion?
I disagree, but
All in favor, please raise your hand. 3. All opposed? All right, motion carries. 7.08, 2025 through 2026 budget priorities. Are we going to talk about?
Well, we got plenty of priorities, and that I would like to come back because we just got the stuff from the schools. I think that we've discussed with you guys about what is important. What's important for elementary, primary, and what's important for middle and high to continue. We're in a great position now as compared to other people in the state, so we want to keep that going on. So that's, but you gotta find out exactly what will it take to keep advancing. And that's what we're gonna try to do. Wendy has done a great job of collecting this stuff. It's a lot, but we'll do the best we can with what monies we're allotted.
All right, thank you. 7.09, student liaison is under the weather, and so she'll be back with us next go-round. 8.01, superintendent search announcement. Am I supposed to read this, or?
You all need to determine a time for the public hearing.
That's right.
So we can advertise.
Okay. So, do I read this first, or just go ahead and figure out the time, or?
You just need a time at this point.
Okay. From the floor, do we have any recommendations for the time?
Well, I think that we want to have it the next meeting that we have, but I don't know if we could move our time back on the regular meeting, or if we want to have a shortened closed session and then maybe have to meet later on for the closed session.
it's going to depend on what was on the agenda. I mean, we talked about it
Yeah, but
previously,
I'm
but
just saying, I don't know what time we want to go with, but that's a suggestion, is if we could have it at 5 o'clock, but can people get here in time, or would we wait and just have it at 6 and then have our meeting immediately after that?
and I thought we had talked
I
about
mean-
if we could, when we come out of closed session at 5, because normally, I mean, we're almost done now, and it's not even 6 o'clock. So if we come out of session, we don't have a huge amount of issues. And now that we're doing budget, supposedly next month, talk more about the budget and the priorities, since you just got it, so that might take a little bit more time. But if you wanted to push it down to 6 or even say it at 6:30 or 7, if you push it to 7, you're not gonna have a whole lot of people here. So
I say 6.
I would recommend no later than 6, yeah. And we can always push the budget a little bit to the
Well, and
right.
I kind of misspoke. We usually start at 5, so I don't know if you, if
Do
you
that
want to have it first,
Right, right.
and then, the regular meeting would be immediately after that or something.
And that might work better.
I think that would work better.
5, come out
Do
of
it at
closed
5. I
session and
think that would
immediately go
work
into
better.
this.
Yeah.
You mean to make
Get
a
it?
motion?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have to make a motion
Didn't
for
have the
that?
regular
When you do
meeting
not have to make a
after.
motion.
Okay.
After the, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
no, I think that'd be best.
okay, all right.
So 5 o'clock.
So 5 o'clock, so, let me read this. Buckingham County School Board announces superintendent search. The Buckingham County School Board, today is announcing that, we will begin the process of hiring a new superintendent by seeking public input on qualifications. The school board has created a survey related to superintendent criteria, which is available at a survey. You can find the information on the internet and on the homepage of the division website. Hard copies of the survey will also be available at the school board administration offices at each school and the public library. The deadline for surveys is to be completed by January 12th, 2025. In addition to the survey, the board will hold a public hearing January 15th, 2025 at 5 o'clock. The location will be the Buckingham County Middle School cafeteria. And then there's some stuff. The appointment of a new superintendent is one of the most important responsibilities entrusted to a school board. And it is our priority to ensure that the public has an active role in this selection process. I guess I said that one time. We encourage parents, staff, and residents to participate by completing the survey or attending the public hearing. The school board selected the Virginia School Board Association to assist the board with the superintendent search. Anyone else have anything that they wanted to add? All right. Thank you. 8.02, school board member committee updates.
I can give a slight update on the salary committee. As you guys know, we've already done the finals on both the teacher salaries and the para salaries. We both have been submitted to the school board. So at some point when we start doing the budget priorities and how that's going to all break out, of course, we'll have to address yay, nay, or adjust the requirements of those committee results or outputs. I know JB had sent out some stuff earlier on updates on greenhouse. Do we have anything we want to talk about on the greenhouse stuff? Wonderful, wonderful. Please and thank you.
Let me talk to you guys. The greenhouse is going along. However, over Thanksgiving, the barracks lost their electrician that was contracted to do the job. So they are currently in the process of interviewing others. They're in the final stages of bringing on a new contractor for the electrical. So again, that pushes us back. I was already worried about the date slightly anyway, so I am definitely worried about the end of December date for finish. The new electrical contractor, I met with the folks that came. They seem like they would be very capable of doing the job. I think it's a matter of negotiations between barracks and the electrician. And that's really the final stage. We are 80% done. We're waiting on that final piece. We will have doors put on and lights, door lights put in over Christmas break, which is the best time to do that work. And also just wrapping up a few things as far as like internal doors, connection between greenhouse and the horticulture room. That'll be done over Christmas. So I'm expecting just this guy's got to get on board. He's got to figure out the schematics, make sure he's up to speed. So I'm predicting mid-January as a completion, as long as we can get this guy on board. Now, they haven't signed the contract yet, as far as I understand, so that's still in negotiation phase. So that's where we're at with the greenhouse.
Everything's pending.
Pending, yes, sir. We had it all lined up, but I guess, folks, we used to shake hands and say, I'm going to do the work, and they showed up and did the work, and now they have a contract and still try to get out of it. So that's where we're at.
Did you want to go ahead and give them the update on the facilities committee meeting we had? And
Good.
about all of the laundry list that we would like to do?
Yes, we have, that list has been out there quite a while. We have the auditorium that is still in need of repair. I think that budget number came in at around $3.5 million. That's, that number I've adjusted slightly because we got our it was during COVID and then shortly thereafter when everything went up and down and kind of crazy. So I believe that $3.5 million is a pretty accurate number at this point, but still that would have to be put out to bid and restructured and figure out exactly what we want to do. Then there's the slate roof at the high school, which is, that's continuing to hold tight. However, the soffit and the gutters, I'm having to do some emergency work on that. As of tomorrow, those old copper gutters have sort of failed, and we don't want all that water going onto the flat roof of the auditorium, so we're doing that work. And then there's a tennis court, number 1 court nearest the pre-K, is in pretty bad shape. Estimated, I'm not supposed to just give the numbers, 30,000 for that. The other court is not far behind it, although if you look at it, it doesn't look as bad. But if you get down and really look, there's micro cracks in that, and they get water in it, and when water hits it, freezes, it does its thing. So that one is not far behind. And then we also have the track that needs reseal. And all these things have been bounced around in the facilities committee. It's just a matter of lining up the priorities on how you guys want to do it, and we will make a plan and get done whatever it is that you guys can work it out for us to do. So. Oh, and
Perfect
can I
timing for
give
the
you
budget.
2 more? I'm so sorry. I want to bring this up. Piping at the high school. When we got our new boilers, which are awesome, they're doing great, but they put a little bit more pressure on the pipes, so they've had to readjust that back a little bit because they're so efficient. And we also have to change that system from hot to cold all the time. You know, it's what it is. It's a 1-pipe system there. So as doing that, it's really put a lot of stress and pressure on those pipes over the years, and they're insulated, so you really can't see it. So when we changed over to the new boilers, we started seeing pinholes, and we started checking and looking into the deeper issues behind the insulation that is so nicely packed. And we really need to abate that. During spring, I don't want to touch it now because it needs all of the sweater warmth it can get to go through cold. But when it gets spring, I'd like to skin those and see exactly what we got. And then from there, I imagine we're going to have some repair work that needs to be done to the piping at the high school. I just threw out a budgetary number because I'm not sure on that. We'd have to study that and make sure I'm doing it right, whether replacement or repair is the best option for us. So that's just a little bit of forecasting for you as we move into the beginning of next year.
It shouldn't be that much, you're only a couple years old.
Well, no, those are a couple hundred years old.
That thing warmed up Moses when he was in school. So it's been there quite a while, sir.
They're a
We've
ticking
got
bomb.
good life out of it, but it's it's in need of some TLC.
Thank you.
I just want to say that the Heroes Breakfast was really well attended, and it's just wonderful to see all those people come out. They are so appreciative, and the food is the best. I mean, I don't think anybody went away hungry that day. Whew. And I went to see the alternate education school the other day, and they would like for us to come by and see them. They are doing a good job, and they're appreciative of everything. I went out to one of the Title I nights, and we had a good time making different little things and learning some things. And I went to the arts and crafts at the Visual Arts for Longwood College. They had an invitation to all of us, so my grandkids really had a good time doing arts and crafts, and I didn't have to do it, you know. And a family engagement night is tomorrow, I believe, at the elementary school. And I believe the junior class just got their class rings, so I'm sure there's a lot of excited kids that's there. So, and congratulations to the football team, even though they didn't win the last game, but I think they still deserve a little
It was a
credit
great
there.
season, yeah. So.
That's all.
All right. Did anyone else have anything?
A reminder that tomorrow our school board members will do a walkthrough at the CTE building. Gives us a chance to go in and see what's going on. They're always nice about feeding us. We've already been to the preschool and the elementary school. And is that it?
Middle school. We went to the middle school.
The middle school? Yeah, the middle school. So that's a good thing for us to be able to get in there and see what's going on.
Thank you. And I wanted to say I had the opportunity with Dr. Browning to visit Buckingham Correctional Center, and they were excited to see us. That's for sure. So,
I don't know if that's good or bad.
well, they were excited because they was just. I think it gave them some hope, and it gave them some kind of, they were motivated to see some people in the community that were interested in them, And so it did my heart real well. And so I did want to also say with the Heroes Breakfast, to all of those that were involved with that and the people that cooked it, and I know special shout out to JB. He was back there cooking, flipping flapjacks and everything back there. Okay, well, I just wanted to tell, yes, sir. I wanted to tell everyone thank you for doing all of that. It was so wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Keeler. He wrote out some stuff. I think it was Mrs. Jansen that actually wrote it out, this long.
That's right.
She did that on purpose.
Yeah, it must have been. I mean, I was like, I needed some glasses or something or whatever to help me to focus to be able to read it all. But thank you everyone that was involved with that. It was so wonderful. So thank you all. Anyone else have anything they want to say? Hearing none, seeing none, I now declare this meeting adjourned.